Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Good evening to you. How are you doing today? I hope you are doing excellent. I'm very excited about what's happening today, and it's going to be a very beautiful time. I assure you, it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful time. So, you're welcome. Let's see you guys come in from everywhere. All right, let's see you come in. So, just feel free. Start sharing the link to your friends, start reminding people, put it up on your status, and let people know that we are live right now. You are welcome. How's your day been? I know it's been a Saturday. I hope it's not been raining like it for you the way it is for me over here. It's been a rainy all day. It's been such a rainy day. All right. I hope yours has not been like mine because if it's been like this, then I'm sure you've not been able to go out or do some stuff. All right. But how have you been and where are you joining from? You're all welcome. All right. So let's get to interact as we just wait for more people to join us. You are welcome. You are welcome. You're welcome. So spread the word. We are live. It's LOVEATHON 2024. All right. So we'll give some time for people to join. Give me a second. Let me see if I can also see what's happening on YouTube. Okay. We are live. We are live. All right, we have people already joining us. Okay. Let me. All right, we have people already. Give me a second. Aha. Yes, I have my monitor screen there. I'm just trying to see how things are going. So, how are you all doing? It's Loveathon. It's Loveathon. It's Loveathon. And this is the 21st wedding anniversary celebration of our dear, wonderful coaches, Coach TeamDinmaNedum will be, and they're celebrating 21 years of bliss, and they want to show you how. You see, I'm a big, 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 big advocate and ambassador of marital bliss. All right, because it's possible. A lot of people don't know it's possible, because of the things they have been seeing around them, they've heard, sometimes first-hand experiences, but it's possible, and that's what Team Dimanedum are here to show us how. And we've been doing this since we entered the month of July. All right, every weekend, Saturday, especially for couples, and then Sunday, especially for singles, and it's been going really, really, really fine. All right, today is just another very wonderful time. We will be speaking especially to the couples. So, where you guys at? Where are you? Call your husband, your wife, share the link with someone, gather your friends, put it up on your status. Just put the word out already because we're going to be talking about stuff that will be very, very beneficial to families, all right, to couples. Today's topic is one very interesting one. We're talking about the joy of shared meaning. The joy of shared meaning. And before long, we'll be getting right into the meat of it. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me see where you're joining us from. You can drop your comments. I can see that we already have some people live. Please, let's hear from you. How has your day been? First of all, hope it's been good. Hope it's been fine. Has it been a sunny day? Has it been a rainy day? Are you joining us from Nigeria? Are you joining us from outside of Nigeria? Where are you and how are you doing? So please let's interact. All right. If you're also online, if you're watching on YouTube, feel free to use the reactions and just splash some love and just splash some excitement, and share how you feel right now. So let's hear from you. I'll be so delighted to hear from you guys to know how you are doing. All right. So let's go. Let's go. Okay, I see Oluwaseun. You're joining from Lagos. Thank you very much. Thank you. It's been a cool weather. That kind of cool. I like it. All right. So thank you for joining in. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you, Oluwaseun. So let's see who else. Who else? Somebody want to share? Well, let me also share. Well, I'm joining in live from Freetown in Sierra Leone, and over here it's been raining all day. It's been raining all day. Like, in fact, there's a flood warning alert already put out by the government because some areas that are prone to flooding might already be getting swamped up by now. All right, so how is it going for you? And then, I mean, everywhere has been shut, so you have to keep the house warm. All right, that's it live from Freetown, Sierra Leone. How is it happening at your own end? Who is reporting from Lagos? Who is reporting from Abuja? Let's get to hear from you. So, all right, I'm waiting to hear from you in the comments. Meanwhile, if there's anyone here who would want to share anything that has jumped out at them since this Loveathon started, anything that has inspired you, feel free to let me know and just drop it in the comments so that we can read it out and share with other listeners and other viewers. All right, if you've learned something particularly that stood out for you, this is that time where you can just share very briefly. Okay, we'll soon be jumping right into the conversation for today, but I want to give you that opportunity to share. Okay, if you are the kind of person who does not believe that marriage can work, you believe that it's just a matter of chance. If you are lucky, it will work. If you are not lucky, it will not work. If you're that kind of person and you're listening to us, you are definitely in the right place. And I said that because one of the things we teach in the curriculum of preparing for bliss, where we're teaching people the blueprint for a blissful marriage, one of the things we teach you there is how to activate luck. So if you think it's only luck that can make your marriage work, you're right. You will learn how to activate that luck. All right. So don't disenfranchise yourself in every way. If you say it's lucky, say okay, some people are lucky, some of us are not lucky. No, you too self can be lucky. So you see, we've covered every area, and from left, right, center, you're definitely going to receive help, and you're going to receive assurance, you're going to receive inspiration and instruction on how to achieve a blissful marriage. If you're the kind who believes that marriage does not have formula, anything you see is what you get. So if you're like that, don't worry. Listen to these sessions and just subscribe to our programs and our teachings. And let's just call it our teachings. You discover that there are systems that can be built to ensure success in your marriage. And if people have done this for 21 years, then trust me, it is not a thing of chance. All right, it's not because they are lucky per se, in that sense of luck, right? It is because there is something that works that they have done, and it is reproducible. What's the other simple English word for it? It's replicable. All right, so you pick that template and plug it in your own marriage, plug it somewhere else. So long as it's that same success template, is going to produce exactly the same results. Yes, we have more people joining us from Lagos. We have Tina from Lagos. Thank you so much, Tina, for joining. We also have Damis from Ekpe, Lagos. Thank you for joining. It's great to see you guys. You're welcome. So please, those of you just joining, feel free to let us know where you're joining from, and then feel free to also splash some love. Use the love emoji and just let us know that you're here. All right, because it promises to be a beautiful day. Okay, so da 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 da. I'm waiting for you. So while I'm waiting, and just before I will introduce our wonderful, wonderful, wonderful hosts, let me share something about, this, my journey, let me put it like that, my personal experience with TeamDinmaNedum. Last week I shared something about my own experience growing up and how that my parents were very intentional in raising us up and stuff like that. From the moment I got in contact with them, TeamDinmaNedum, one thing that I have seen and learned practically from how they have patterned their own marriage and the kind of things that they have taught us, is the fact that you have to be really, really intentional and create systems and be unified in those systems. You have to do it together. It's not a situation where one person wants A and the other person wants B, and they are not able to join it together to become AB. All right, A maintains A, B maintains B. It's okay to have your different ideas and opinions, but it's also more fantastic where you can join them together to form one thing and both of you run with that together. You see, but one thing I have learned with them is that they have been able to break down, and this is the height, this is the highest benefit for me, the fact that they have been able to break down all of those those principles, let me put it like that, all of those systems. They've been able to break it down into very clearly understandable terms, very practical and relatable terms. All right, they have been able to simplify the process. Trust me, some people can actually just get overwhelmed hearing that you need to do this, do this, do this, do that. And you're like, man, where do I start from? You see, but when you sit under the counsel and tutelage of TeamDinmaNedum, one of the things you see is how they have broken it down into everyday interaction that you're having with your spouse. Nothing beats that. Like that for me is like the easiest entry level, right? It's basic conversation you can have with your spouse, and then it helps you guys to now iron things out. All right, so that's one thing I've really loved, from this couple. Not just that they practice it, but that they are able to communicate it in very clear and simple terms and practical terms. And they will even give you templates, they'll give you guides, and that is just so wonderful. So you need to try this. Anyway, I'll soon be getting right into the conversation for today. And give me a second to just confirm that we're ready and on standby. All right. Very soon I'll be bringing in TeamNedum and Dimma, and you will just be hearing directly from our wonderful, wonderful resource persons. All right. So, how long have you known TeamDinmaNedum? What have you learned from them? Do you want to share in the comments? Do you want to, just say something fantastic you have learned from this wonderful couple? Oh, I see Abigail is also joining us from Lagos. You're welcome, Abigail. Thank you so much for being here. All right. So, what have you learned from them? What have you learned from them, from the marriage, from the sessions, from the classes? All right. Now, don't forget that this continues tomorrow for the singles. Okay, so anybody single in your space, feel free to just recommend for them. Saturday is dedicated to couples, and then Sundays for the singles. So, ladies and gentlemen, all right, today we're going to be talking about the power of shared meanings. Shared meaning. What does it mean? Okay, we're going to be hearing directly from our facilitators, and they are none other than our fantastic hosts celebrating 21 years of making marriage work, making it beautiful, making it blissful. And they have put this program together to show you how. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to clap, celebrate as we bring in to the room right now, into the studio, our very dear hosts, TeamDinmaNedum. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to use sound effects for these things, so that we can bring in that clap and that standing ovation. Woo! You know that thing, right? All right, we need to bring it in. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have our hosts will be joining us, and they're going to be sharing very practical tips with us. Are you ready? Are you ready? If you're ready, let me see you type in the comment section. Just say, yes, we are ready. Yeah, so while they're coming up, let me even just read some of the comments. Yeah. Abby says the power of unity and systems in marriage. I got to know them a few months ago. Oh wow, thank you so much for sharing. All right. Okay, Abigail also says, because it was great seeing you physically at the sex conference today. Yeah, some of you were at the sex conference today, and it was great for her to see you. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. All right. So yes, we are ready. Oh. We are ready. We are ready. I'm getting the comments coming in. I need like three more people to comment. We are ready. Are you excited already? You see, knowledge typically should excite you. Like every opportunity to learn just gets me excited because you can't behave above your level of persuasion. It's where rich you go fit do it. You understand? So so every opportunity to add to your learning is an opportunity to be better. Okay, and I'm always excited, especially when it has to do with marriage and family. Oh my God, I'm jumping right in there. All right, so we're ready, and any moment from now, we'll have TeamDinmaNedum. So just hold on a second. I think you're muted. I don't think I can hear anything.
We are here. Can you hear us?
Oh, yes, now I can hear you. Ladies
And
and
can you
gentlemen,
hear
look at
us?
this ever smiling. Yes, we can see and hear you very well.
All right.
You're
So,
welcome,
well,
Sandma.
thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thank
Chimizzy.
you. So, are we taking over?
Over to you right away.
All right. Thank you so much, Chemezie, for that and for holding forth. And for everyone who is here, it's our pleasure to be here again with you this Saturday. Okay, and we will be discussing something very important. Um, I just had to take a moment to catch my breath because it's been from one event to the other. But I thank God that we will have this LOVEATHON and we are excited. And for this third week, we want to discuss the joy of shared meaning. And somebody might be wondering, what does that mean? First of all, let's talk about the concept of shared meaning in marriage. And so when you hear the word shared, shared connotes mutuality, shared connotes commonalities, and then you merge it with the second key word here, meaning. Meaning in the sense of what makes life meaningful, what makes life purposeful, what makes somebody wake up in the morning and is excited to go through the day, what makes somebody feel like I'm spending my days on earth in a way that resonates with me, in a way that I enjoy, and then you now put the joy in it. So what we want to discuss tonight is that when couples have a sense of mutual purpose, when couples have a sense of mutual meaning in life, it brings joy, it brings deeper intimacy, and it also deepens their unity. So, in the concept of shared meaning, somebody once said something that if someone in a marriage wakes up or at any point in time is asking themselves, is this all there is to it? Maybe you're married and you're like, so is this all marriage is about? Just wake up, greet, do this, go to work, come back, shine Congo, take care of the children. Is that really all it is? It means that the moment somebody begins to ask that question, that suggests that there might be something missing in that relationship that gives, first of all, a personal sense of meaning and also a deeper sense of shared meaning. And we also know from our personal relationship and the work we do with couples, that couples who are happy are couples who have a way, they find joy in honoring each other's dreams, because marriage is not expected to make you lose your individuality. Marriage is not expected to make you lose your dreams, because when the God said, go into the world, multiply, and fill the earth, he wasn't necessarily talking to you as a married person. He was talking to each of us individually, meaning that every one of us has something that we are to contribute to life. Humanity is supposed to get better because Dima was born and lived and walked the face of the earth within the time of my life. And so when we say, I want to fulfill the number of my days, we are really saying, I want to live out the purpose for which I was created. And then, granted, not everybody um, should marry if you don't want to marry, right? Because you can still fulfill your purpose in life even without getting married. However, when you choose to get married, unknown to you, you are choosing that I want to partner with somebody to live out my purpose. And we know that couples are happier when they can support each other to live out that purpose. And so, honoring your partner's dreams and helping them, supporting them to fulfill it is one way of deepening shared meaning. So the more a couple have shared meaning, the more they can find their relationship richer, the more the relationship can be more rewarding, because every human being is homo prospectus. We are created to want to always look for something to improve on, something to do better. Man and woman are goal oriented. And if you are in a relationship with a partner, it is so disheartening when your partner does not even notice you, when your partner does not even notice that thing that talks at your heart, when your partner does not even know what your dreams are. I was working with a young lady and she was so bitter. And the statement she said to me is, my husband does not see me. And I just paused and like, madam, what do you mean? And she goes on to say that the husband has this business idea that he wants her to pursue. And so he's ready to invest money for her to go do that business. But that is not what she wants to wake up to do. And so when she tells her husband what her dreams are, the man is like, well, which money can come from that? What can that do? And the woman is there and she's unhappy. I'm just coming in from the sex conference and I spoke on living a blissful marriage. And I gave them a question to go and reflect in their homes. And I could hear from, the responses. When you say sometimes people go, hmm, that will enter. And the question I asked them is, can you go home and ask your partner, what is dying in you for this marriage to be alive? What about you is dying? What is that dream of yours that is dying? What is that idea of yours that is dying? What is that part of you that is dying because you are married to me? And when we begin to look at the shared meaning, before we talk about the joy, one of the ways couples can embrace shared meaning is having shared goals. These days, we see people married, but they are living separate lives. What holds them together is that they are sharing the bills, or they are living in the same house, or they have children between them. That some marriages may just be co-parenting is basically what they are doing. One man was saying to me, he was sharing something with me, and I was, very enthusiastically listening to him. And he said, if only my wife can show interest in this business deal of mine, the way you have shown interest by just asking me, encouraging me, maybe I'll be better. There are people that are married, but they don't know what their partners are doing. That is individually. What of shared goals? Over the years of our marriage, Neduma and I have had shared goals, mutual goals that both of us are pursuing together. Not just the fact that we're married, we have our marriage coaching business that we both do. And I can tell you, take for example, on Thursday, we sat together and we're looking at, the plan for the couples weekend getaway that is coming next week, Friday. And so we were designing how the event will go. I can't tell you the richness such activities have. When couples have shared goals together, when they invest their energy, their time, and their talent in working at something meaningful together, it deepens their connection and unity, especially when those things they are working on is something they both find meaningful. Then, when it even comes to business, Nedum will talk about that. People will say, oh, you cannot do business with your partner. If your wife knows how much the business is generating, that's when she'll be asking for money. That's when she'll be doing that. We will discuss how can couples do business together, create ideas together, fun things together that will still work, with each person bringing their skills, their competencies, and their experiences and still making it work. So, my question to the couples listening to us tonight is, what is one goal that you're working together with your partner outside of the fact that you're married? What is one thing that you're doing together to contribute to humanity that can be an avenue for you to, participate in this joy of shared meaning? Another thing that helps couples to enjoy shared meaning is the fact where they have shared values and shared beliefs. That is one pillar for shared meaning. Because if you don't have shared values, you will not find even the shared goals that you're doing together meaningful. So I dare say that shared values is the vehicle that drives shared goals in marriage, that drives the joy of shared meaning. So many people have their personal value system. I have my personal value system. But what is that thing that both of us find valuable, that we can make significant? And that is why I say the third one, every family here should have rituals. You must have rituals that help you to live out your values, because life is already busy. And if you're choosing that you will do life with this person, there must be rituals of connection. Rituals are things that you do that are structured, routines that you do that is not one off, that is more like traditions that you do together to make life more meaningful. And these things do not have to be things cast on stone. You could have rituals around your anniversary, you could have rituals around your birthdays, you could have rituals around anything. But definitely, your rituals for connection is one way that both of you can draw meaning from each other. See, life is tough. Life is challenging. You cannot now be married to somebody that you cannot do life together. The only thing that holds you together is that you exchange vows, but you are just living separate lives. I mean, you might as well be single. And there's so many people, so many couples who are married, but they are lonely in their marriage. The last World Happiness Report that was released in March 20 talked about the growing rate of loneliness. That people are in relationships, but they are lonely. It is because they don't have something that draws them together. Outside children, outside taking care of the bills, outside maybe praying together. What else? What are your rituals for connection? What do you do together as a couple to build your bond? To even do some things that make life more meaningful. And lastly, it's support for each other. I need to say this. You may not necessarily be working in the same business. maybe because of, the things you're doing. We are fortunate that we have some things we're doing together. Our coaching business, the real estate business, we're also both deeply involved in it, and that gives us opportunity outside of the normal family talk to brainstorm, to talk about things, to challenge ourselves intellectually. We even take time out to go and do retreats out to talk about. It might not be yours. Maybe your partner is in another industry. Maybe he is in mining and you are in education. And so there might not be things, but you can actually look at altruistic things to do together. Benevolent causes that you can do. Volunteering is something you can do together that still helps you to share meaning. All right, so I'm going to be stopping there. And the last thing I wanted to say is that even when you are doing things differently, your partner must be your number one cheerleader. And let me just hold it there and allow Nidun to take over.
Okay, thank you, Dima, for that conversation and presentation. The joy of shared meaning. I want to just ask you a simple question that might challenge you to know if you are experiencing the joy of shared meaning. How intense and longing do you feel to see your spouse? How intense and how long and how desirable do you desire your spouse? Not just sexually, just for companionship. If your husband or your partner travels and the day of the arrival is tomorrow, do you have today that intense of wanting to see him, desiring to see her? Do you have that longing that in the evening you are looking forward for an enjoyable support conversations with your partner? Do you still have, even in the relationship, that deep earnest that you have something to share, and the person you want to share it with, the person you want to break that news to, the person you feel that the most exciting time to reveal that innermost desire and conversation and interest is your partner? That is one thing that can indicate if the joy of shared meaning is inside you or in that relationship. That's just a quick one for you to help you to evaluate your relationship. And so if your partner is not close to you, traveled, and you enjoy those moments more, in fact, you are wishing, is there somewhere he will be going? Let him just leave you quickly, travel, maybe come back after 1 week. As long as there's money to spend with the children, it doesn't matter. You don't feel that emptiness. Then you need to come back and say, what is missing? And so I have 3 powerful C's that if you don't learn anything today, these 3 C's is what will indicate if you have the joy of shared meaning. It is compatibility, it is complementarity, it is chemistry, equals to joy of shared meaning. Compatibility, the things that are similar and common to you as a couple. Complementarity, the differences that you have as individual, yet that differences is a fusion. That differences is a combination of your weaknesses and strength in such a way that the outcome is more powerful than your own personal outcome. Chemistry, the love flow from your belly, from your tummy. So when you have compatibility, complementarity, and chemistry, the joy of shared meaning will be abundance. It will be overflowing. So how can you have this joy of shared meaning? How can it be practiced? The first way it can be practiced is, unless both of you come and look at the things that makes you feel seen, the things that makes you contribute, the longings and dreams you have since childhood, during your teenage age, and even in future, the things you want the world to know about you, have you discussed it with your partner? It just won't come in isolation.
That conversation is where your partner will begin to realize those things you wish you could have, those things you wish you could enjoy, those things you wish you could use to contribute. Both of you must come up with that list. So this is not the idea I am coming to donate my life to somebody. Because like Dema said, what is dying in you as a result of that relationship? Because having the joy of shared meaning, both parties must able to see what they enjoy in the present, how this present benefits them, how the future benefits them, and how also the future of the future has them enjoying it together. So what it simply means that today we have something in common, we are enjoying together. Tomorrow vision, we are seeing ourselves together, enjoying mutually that future. So it's not just for the present, it has to be future. So once you can understand that and harmonize that, another one is you have to schedule regular dates. Because we have a busy, especially if you're in this country and you work in different places, different organizations, parenting, business, church, community. If you are not careful, all these things will take your time. And therefore, how do you save those times you have meaningful conversation? Is to schedule dates with your partner. Yes, in your calendar, put a date. At this time of the day, we are going to shut down everything and concentrate on ourselves, including the children. So if it needs that you need to go out of the house, maybe once in a while, maybe a few hours, maybe a weekend, that is one of the way you can enjoy shared meaning. They might have said about activities that both of you enjoy. You must be able to practice empathy and active listening. You see, when you are so connected with your spouse, there is the tendency of getting offense, getting angry over either what your spouse said, what he did not say, what he did, or what he did not do. Are you able to listen to your spouse when he's sharing his thoughts and feelings? Are you concentrating? Your spouse is sharing something with you, you are pressing phone, you are watching football, and when he or she brings that to your notice, you repeat what they have said and tell them that you were hearing them. You see, one of the way of shared meaning is that your partner is listening to you, body, soul, and spirit. That is a way to deepen it. Another way is to show gratitude and appreciation. When your partner does something for you or for the family, do you find time to appreciate them? It's not just the usual thank you. Say it how you feel the appreciation. What are the words? In fact, you need to be romantic for this to happen. You don't always use a common two-way word. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for what? Thank you for how you did this. Thank you for the intelligence. Thank you for the skills. Thank you for the approach. Thank you for even having the thoughtfulness to do it in such a way. Share deeper more than just the thank you. And how that your partner has expressed skills, talent, time, energy, effort, the thoughtfulness into the process. Be able to capture details in the process. And that will help your partner to learn how to appreciate you for appreciating her. Another way is also appreciate them in publicly. What do I mean? Before the children. If they did something, tell them, oh, your daddy does this, your daddy makes me feel this, it makes my tummy, I feel useful because I'm married to her, I'm so lucky married to your mother. Your parents, your in-laws, appreciate their daughter and their son before them. Appreciate your spouse in any way you have opportunity in front of your friends. Publicly endorse her that she is the reason, he is the reason why you are so excited and happy. He is the reason or she is the reason you are looking beautiful and better, and you are getting the best out of life. How lucky you are. So shared meaning is not just one big tangible thing. Every moment is a moment of what? Appreciation. Like they might say, support, show affection, desire intimacy. Desiring intimacy means also that you are committed to every form of activity that deepen that relationship. And so for us, every Thursday, we don't joke with it. We say it is TeamDinmaNedum Day. This Thursday, especially, is for us to wind down so many things because we are so busy, maybe the weekends. She's just coming up from a sex conference. I spoke at a church on leadership and mentoring. From there to another wedding, we are just seeing ourselves after 10 o'clock since. And perhaps by 9, we will be tired. So what is the intentional activities you are doing? What are the intentional rituals you keep replicating over time, spicing it, making it beautiful, making it lovely? You need to think, what extra mile can you go for this relationship? What extra sacrifice? You need to be inventing skills, knowledge, activities that will spice your relationship. And when you are practicing this, you see that your intimacy is deepening. Don't be carried out with a particular routine. Make things possible. For men, I will tell them, don't say you are not romantic. Go to Google, go to ChatGPT, ask the question, how can I be romantic to my partner? It will give you 1001 ways. So don't say you are it's not in your nature. It is not in your, you are not brought up that way. If something can help your marriage grow and deepen intimacy, what is it about it you can learn? If you can go to courses just to improve your work, to get promotion, you can also look at avenues to make this marriage beautiful. And in doing that, and in seeking growth, and in seeking collaborative partnership, you will realize that having joy in a shared meaning, having joy in living together will not be something for just a moment. It can be something for a lifetime. Thank you.
Wow. Oh my God. You see, I just hope people were taking notes, right? But even if you are not taking notes, this thing is on YouTube. So you can go and take your time and pause and write down, because I was trying to take notes and I couldn't keep up. I couldn't keep up. The punchlines were just going back to back to back to back, but these are very practical things. And if you don't mind, let me just quickly, mention one of two things that jumped out at me, and then we will also ask a few questions. All right, let me see what people are saying in the comments. Sorry, I have my monitor by the side there. Let me see what's happening there. All right, so you see, you said some things, sir, that are very practical. Very, very practical, because these are the things we see every day. For example, you talked about listening, intentionally, and then someone is talking to the partner, they're pressing the phone, and like, can you hear me? And then, like you said, they repeat the last word you said, which is supposed to mean that, of course, I can hear you, like, but then that there is a kind of disconnect because the person is not into the conversation. When you spoke to that was just so spot on, and then someone will ask the question, somebody would say that I and my husband or my wife, we've been having some issues, so I don't see us coming to have these kind of conversations, like now starting to, where do we start from? I think that's the question. Where do we start from to start sharing things? Because we've been living apart, we've just gotten busy, with work, with life, and then we're not even in good terms. So somebody is wondering, where can I start from to initiate this sharedness that you're talking about? How can we get back our rhythm? What would you say, sir, Adma?
Okay. All right. Thank you for that question. So, many a times when we are consciously aware of the pain that something causes for us, we are better willing to work on it. So I would say to that person, reflect on how you have been feeling with being in a partnership like marriage that is supposedly the most intimate source of love, connection,
Mm,
and sense of belonging. And if
mm,
you are not enjoying how you are in a marriage with somebody, but you are living like flatmates, yes, things may have happened. Maybe this person has hurt you. Maybe this person has betrayed you. Maybe times you have tried to, bring the person so that you could have some things that you share in common, but it's not working. You want to try again. So I always say to people, you want to heal from the pain that your relationship or your marriage may have cost you. Because once that pain is still like a filter through which you are seeing this person, you will just succumb to, let's just continue living that way. But even the person just continue living that way is not happy. So you want to ask yourself, if there's something I can do to improve this, what is it that I can do? So, first of all, is heal yourself. Secondly, is to understand that people are different. I don't want to begin
mm.
to call the attention of the people who are already married why it is important that they should have checked this sense of sharedness before getting married. Because if you are able to know what to look out for and know what to do in even marriage preparation, you will know to the level that there is a sense of shared meaning that you have with this person. But let's continue. You didn't do that, right? So, what do you do now? You must appreciate that people learn differently. And maybe you came to
Mm.
the awareness now, but your partner has not come to the awareness. You should not be forceful that he must come to the awareness when I've come. After all, it also took you some time to come. So cut your partner some slack. Recognize that everybody is dealing with life based on what they know. Thirdly,
Mm.
make your home an environment of shared meaning. People always focus on the things we don't have. But in that marriage, if there's any small low hanging fruit, one tiniest thing that even has some commonalities, and for some people, is your children. I'm not saying use your children, but I'm saying you can even start the rituals with your children. Create rituals of connection around your children. The whole idea is to share meaning with the person. So, yes, you want to go to get away. Yes, you want to do this, but the person is not forthcoming. Which one is the person willing to do? Even a shared meal is joy of shared meaning. So, how do you present your meals so that you can share a meal, even if it's once a week? It's something. So we're always looking
Wow.
for the big ones. DinmaNedum are doing every Thursday. They don't go to work, but your work does not permit that. You don't wait till
And
you
they
can
ride
have.
bicycle every Saturday.
So do your own 20 minutes that you can do. Start somewhere, use what you have, and grow from it. Just know that
Mm.
little drops of water make a mighty ocean. Let what you cannot do stop you from doing what you can do.
In addition
Mm.
to what Dima had just shared, ignorance is a big factor. There are people
Mm.
who know what they want, but they don't know how to achieve that. And it's a place of ignorance. The fact that you know what it looks like, you don't know how, have you find time to check how you are going to acquire such knowledge? The process to get those things done. Is the place
Mm.
of awareness comes in. Because if you know better, you can know how to approach your partner in such a way that you can bring back that shared meaning. Secondly, when people lack models or role models, they don't see how that is possible. And I will share one story for you. In our season 9 of our getaway, we have a traditional chief who doesn't believe in friendship in marriage.
Mm.
He has this idea of marriage is the boss and the servant, the master and the subject. And so after the early morning sports, The idea was that every man will serve the wife breakfast in bed. And when I said all the men come out, I announced what the exercise is. And the man looked at me and said, no, he's a traditional chief. That cannot be done. Do you know what it means? He cannot bring himself low. We said, well, you're already in the getaway. If you will not eat, that means your wife will not eat. So as we're going, he was just behind, wondering what everybody's hustling, picking his plate, beginning to factor what would my wife like. She likes egg. She likes potato. She will likes this. She will like, he prefer tea. So people are already, conceptualizing what will their partner want in the buffet. So people were choosing. As he saw that people were busy, he went to pick plates. I don't know whether he thought about what his wife would want or not. He carried the plate. As we were going, people were rushing to go and give their wife food with their own plate. So the camera, we have about 3 or 4 cameras. One decided to follow him. He was just carrying the plate, bitter, angry, just walking sluggish. And so they knocked at the door and they opened the door. The wife saw the husband with a plate of food and jumped up. Chief! And the man started laughing. And at the end, in fact, they won the most romantic couple in that getaway.
Wow.
Because all the barriers that was hanging pride just diminished. The man realized, if I build friendship with my wife, these little things are the things that garnish this relationship. So there are laws and societal demands that is making you not enjoy this shared meaning because of ego and culture. Remember, it's your relationship, it's your marriage, it's your life. So the happier you are in relationship, it will translate to every other aspect of your life.
Wow.
And that is just what we are suggesting. Have role models, have people you can just hang out. And you see, some of the things you can do is just an easy thing. And before you know it, it breaks down all those walls and it builds bridges that will connect you deeper with your spouse.
Wow. Wow. That's so profound. That example, he enters in there. He enter well, and then there's another question that, still speaking about, I think it was Dima who mentioned shared goals. I mean, somebody is saying we are married already, we have children, they are in the university. Like, which goal? I'm pursuing my business, she's pursuing her career. Which goal are we pursuing again together? Are you saying two of us should go and find something to do together? Must it be something we're doing together? Or how would you further break down that idea of future shared goals? How would you further break it down, please?
So there's a Chinese proverb that says the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago, 100 years ago, but the next best time is now. And again, that is also something we see that happens with early empty nesters. When couples are living separated lives and their children grow and leave home, the separation deepens. That's why some women go for mugu and they don't come back. They hide that they are helping their daughter's child, but it's just like the home is now boring. What she was using to fill the void was taking care of the children, doing that. Now that they are left together, they can't even have conversations because the only conversations they were having was conversations around children. So they are retired and so they are bored. So the basic thing for any couple, the easiest way to incorporate shared goals into your marriage is to craft your family vision. Because living out your family vision is itself a shared goal. So if our family say, because why is Nedum and I actively involved in the marriage and family coaching? Because ingrained in our family vision and mission statement is to raise other happy families. So it's not like we don't have work to do. We are literally living our family values by the work we're doing. I mean, if you say I was running, now I was trying. I'm. I mean, my mother for the life of her does not know why we're stressing ourselves doing back to back. Like, you should be relaxing, you should be somewhere. And so when you say this is what you find meaningful, this is what is your vision, they talk which one be vision, but you know what I mean. It's because, so that's the basic way. If you don't yet have a family vision, please craft your family vision. And the easiest way for you to craft your family vision is to imagine your 50th wedding anniversary, God keeping both of you together. Your 50th wedding anniversary, what do you want to hear about your marriage? What do you want to hear people say about you, your children say about you, people that encountered you? How do you want to feel? And then put that imagery that both of you see into words. For some people, what gives them joy is, oh, we are known for to be agriculturists, so we have a farm here. It's a family vision. And then working together to actualize that vision is itself a shared goal. So that is one easiest way I can tell couples to begin to live the ideology of shared goals, and then you will see the joy radiating. I give you a story. I can't remember the year. One year we had a couple attend the couples weekend getaway. And then the next year after that, this should be about 11 years, because I mean, their marriage is about as old as ours. So to celebrate their 10th wedding anniversary, they also hosted a couple getaway, like a one-day couple getaway. And I was literally moved to tears when they were talking. What gave them the idea was noticing what we are doing for families. I mean, what's shared vision is more than that. So I always say to people, as much as we run a marriage coaching outfit that is professional and people pay for our services, the joy of this is the fact that we are together living our vision and helping other families craft theirs. So please work on crafting your family vision. That is the basic starter of shared goals. Every other thing can be added to it.
And we also have to realize as couples that what else can we contribute as partners to make this world better? Not just about successional planning for our children, investment, and what can we contribute together? What can the purpose of our relationship solve in regard to helping humanity? Once you can begin to ask that question, the power of shared meaning will emerge. Because you are not just in together to procreate. You are much more together for something deeper. And it doesn't have to be at the world stage. It could be just looking after widows. Help advantage. Solving legal issues for those, if both of you are lawyers or you want to pay for their legal issues. There are so many global problems that is looking for solution. It's just around the corner. Can you find one to just do together? As a legacy? Leave those big mighty things. Just find one small common thing. It could be even helping children in there's so much. And having that to do together can even deepen the shared meaning we are talking about. Something. Don't start for one mighty thing. Leave begins, just small. Start somewhere. It could be even your village. It could just be your neighborhood. It could just be your church. Just find something. And from that, other things may grow. Our challenge is that people are looking for one mighty thing. No. The solution of shared meaning is in the little things that are just around us.
Wow. This is so inspiring and instructive at the same time. Because I just realized something, that a lot of people are struggling. That's couples now who say that, is boring between us. We don't have what to talk about. Many times it's because they don't even have this kind of idea of a shared vision. Because imagine that what both of you are committed to feeding the hungry children on the streets, or buying sandals for maybe 10 children in a particular community school. That will bring you people together to discuss.
Yeah.
Yes, you people will talk about it. Okay, how many sandals can we afford? How much is it? What are the sizes? Who we get? Who will not get? How will we determine who is eligible? That will bring conversation. So many times, because people are thinking only about themselves, they are suffering, boredom, disconnection. But by the time they open up their lives to meet other people's needs, that can even be the light that they have been looking for in their homes.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so instructive. Thank you so much. So there's another question. We have questions. Oh, by the way, those of you please online, if you have questions, you can drop it, so that we can have them speak to it. All right. There's a question I want to ask again. You see, sometimes there are setback, or maybe crisis in a home, and it can come from any angle, maybe economically, maybe external influence, from a family member or society, whatever. Sometimes there's some kinds of setback in the home, and these are a couple that are trying to have a shared life, a shared meaning. How should they handle setbacks? How should this couple handle this setback or crisis in a way that their shared meaning is not affected? Because at the end of the day, some of these issues can cause a sharp divide between the couple, right? So how do they handle crisis and setback in a way that it doesn't create that divide and spoil the unity they're trying to work on?
When we talk about blissful relationship, it does not denote there are no setbacks. It does not imply there are no challenges. It does not imply that there are no stumbling blocks. In fact, when two people come together, they must be able to strategize how will they bounce back when there are setbacks. How do they overcome setbacks? What are their intervention strategy? Because this thing will surely happen. And for us, we consistently have different setbacks, internal, external. They are always there. In fact, almost all couples face the same kind of problem. It depends on the degree and to an extent how knowledgeable you are able to solve and come back in those setbacks. So let us agree on that. Every challenge will come. In fact, the unthinkable can show up. The unimaginable can show up. So no relationship is devoid of setbacks and challenges. So the issue is, when they come, what should you do? When they show up, what should you do? Because even the most happiest people will still face it. So the number one thing is to understand that setbacks are a normal human life situations. You must have that belief. You must understand that it will come. And when it will come, know that it is part of life. So that you expect that when it comes, how do you tackle it? So number one is to identify what the issue is. Be realistic about it. It is not a time to avoid it, to run away from it, cover it with love making and stories. No. If your partner is complaining, can we sit down to talk about it? If you create that first act of can we talk about it? Can we know what the issue is? Can we know how we can solve it and further prevent it from happening? So there are times we have differences, we have challenges. Can we talk about it? Because the first thing is we acknowledge it exists. So there's no pretense about it. So can we talk about it? How did you feel about the issue? What is the issue about? How can we solve it? If I need to apologize, if I need to explain, if I need to, have restitution, if I need to show up in such a way that I I am deeply sorry. I need to accept that. That is where embracing vulnerability comes. If you are not vulnerable to your partner, you can't solve deep issues that setbacks can bring. So if it is financial setback, can you be honest? This is what happened to the family money. This is what we have now. What can we do? So when you start pretending, your partner will be thinking that it is available, but you are trying to suppress her or him to not be able to get what is as he or she should have access to. So vulnerability is where you are opened up. You are not shy. This is the issue. Can we solve it? Number two, you must have empathy. Empathy means you can validate the emotions of your partner. So it's not the situation it says, I felt disappointed. And you say, why should you be disappointed? These are the normal things that happen. Are you the only one? We are even better self. There are people who are worse than us. So you are justifying a wrongdoing and using another couple who may have worse situation to justify your stupidity. So these are some of the things that makes setbacks to linger more than enough. Empathy simply means you understand that your partner is hurt. You understand that it's a human being and this thing is not making he or her fare well. Then you move to the next step is how do you remedy that situation. The fourth one is that consultation is allowed. When you can't solve problem. That time we come to marriage ceremonies, the chairman of the marriage is say, no third party should show up. Not your father, not your mother, not your pastor, not everybody. Both of you should go lock the door and solve your problems. There are problems, my brother and sister. Both of you do not have the competence to solve.
True, sir.
Lack the knowledge to solve it. The Bible says, in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. The issue is, who are you sharing with? Are they competent to hear the case? Do they have the necessary skills to help you navigate the case? That is what you should be asked. Everybody should have somebody he can talk to that is reliable, that is trustworthy, that is mature, and that is skilled in solving that issue. There's nothing wrong with it. The third party should help you solve problem and not bring more problem. And lastly is understanding human weakness. Nobody is perfect, and we will never be perfect, including your partner. So even when they apologize and repeat such in the future, sometimes look at the improvement they are making, because you want them to stop something just once and it will never happen. So I have a friend who drinks, he likes hanging out till 11 to come back. And the wife was just hammering, why is my husband? And the man said, it's just drink. And they came to a compromise. Come and drink it at home. And the man said, okay. He went and bought 3 cartons of a certain kind of beer. We watching Premier League, drank first bottle, second bottle, third bottle, fourth bottle, fifth bottle. By when he went to the 7th, the wife started shouting, no wonder, so you want to finish 1 carton. He said, that is how they drink beer. And the wife started, you drink too much. And if I went and threw away all the cartons of beer. So rather than congratulating the man, at least now you are coming home. The next thing is that, it is your kidney, my husband. I love you. Let your kidney survive. And maybe drink only 4. And maybe he'd have come down to 4. And later to 2. And probably stop it. So we don't encourage progress. We want automatic outcome. It can't happen. So once we can able to encourage our partner, understand them, and sympathize and empathize with them, especially when they are making effort, it will help reduce setbacks, challenges, and it will bring stronger bonds.
All right, let me add something to what you see. Why they follow this man? The man's let me add to what he also said, especially at this time, and when I mean this time where economically, in every aspect, it seems that life is so challenging. All right. And that is where every couple needs to exercise their muscle of resilience. Resilience is a muscle. And no time than not do we need it more than ever. And there's one man that said something about resilience that I always use when I'm working with my clients. It says that resilience is the ability to struggle well. Resilience is not necessarily bounce back. Resilience is how you are in the midst of the struggle. So, based on the question you asked us, resilience is how you are in the midst of the setback and the challenges. So, you want to check where your mind is at, because your mind is the first place of resilience. What is your mind saying about you, about your spouse, about that situation? If you're already defeated in your mind, every of these skills will not work. So you want to ensure that your mindset is in the growth mindset. And that's why I always tell people, embrace the power of yet. This is how we cannot resolve it yet. Yet means that there is still hope. We want to be here, we want to get this, but we have not gotten it yet. Yet signifies resilience, right? That's very important. And lastly, I want to add in the to say that even in the midst of the challenges, do not lose yourself. Let me give a very typical experience. So sometime between 2013, 2014, I was navigating anxiety issues. And anxiety issues where I would feel like I'm short, I don't die plenty times and I never die, right? I don't want to bore you with what led to the anxiety, but just know that the anxiety heightened fear of dying for me. And I'll be at work. I'll call my husband. I'm dying right now. The man will rush back and rush me to hospital. In the midnight, I'll wake up. I'll say, I'm not breathing. I'm not breathing. We'll go to emergency. And it continued this way that it began to even impact him. I'm sharing this because there might be people who are in relationships. Maybe you're in the last 3 months. I have met women who are nursing husbands that are down with cancer. Right? So that's part of setback. Yet,
That's
as
right.
much as it should be available for the person, you don't even want to lose yourself. And I must tell you, so sometimes when I start my theatrics of collapsing, and the doctor will say, all this time you have been thinking you pass out. Have you passed out one day? I never pass out. But the thing in your brain will be telling you that, you will be palpitating and all of that. If you've ever dealt with generalized anxiety, you know what I'm talking about. So sometimes when I'm saying I can't breathe, and the doctors have told us what to do, in that moment, Nedum will say, we're not going to the hospital. I will feel that he was insensitive. You are saying we're not going to the hospital because you are not the one that cannot breathe. You are not the one that feels like passing out. Right? And then it was affecting his sleep, and so we didn't talk about it in the moment, but then he came to that place where he needed to save himself. So one time I was saying something, he said, we can't both break down at the same time. We need to at least have somebody holding the force and all of that. So I'm sharing this to say, even if there are setbacks in the family, and maybe it's a setback that is hitting one person, two of you need to understand. The person who is hit by the setback, understand that your partner still needs to breathe. Right? And don't feel like they are abandoning you. So that's where communication is important. So I just thought to mention that whilst you are helping your partner pass through setbacks, you shouldn't lose yourself. And you, the partner, should also know that this person also needs to be afloat, because if both of us are down, then everything will disintegrate.
And those times are actually funny. I remember 12 midnight, say he wants to eat beans from KFC because KFC sell beans. Oh, eh?
No.
Friday, 8 a.m. in the morning, and you go and bring the fry yam. I will not eat even one piece. You see, I'm not hungry again. You know, and one of those moments, our house help even left. So there are things that cannot be explained in relationships that only the people who wear the shoes at that moment can feel it. And we understand that also happen. But there is strength in prayer. There is strength in the Holy Spirit if you're a Christian. And that's where I tell people you don't need to have problem to pray. You need to be a prayerful person, aligned with the Holy Spirit, strengthen you always. That when in the time of trouble arise, or when it arises, you are already strong enough to pass through the process. And passing through that process will make you stronger, better, and more importantly, believe in the purpose why God joined both of you together.
Wow. Oh, wow. This is really powerful. I see all the comments coming in, in the chat room. There's another dimension I want you to quickly speak to before I ask the other question I want to ask. Sometimes I've noticed that there are some couples that the issues actually start when there is something that was supposed to be a good news. Somebody gets promoted at the office and now has to do maybe a lot more field work. Even good news of expecting a child, and then it's like some routines can't be, you can't meet up with certain routines, maybe because of how one of them is feeling or so. So it's sometimes, how do you handle it when it's supposed to be something good, but yet something good is now beginning to look like it's stressing you in a way that, you didn't prepare for, you didn't see coming?
You know why this thing is funny? When we begin to look futuristic expectations, we want to be global. We want to have this
Exactly.
now work. When you are making those futuristic declarations, remember it's going to choke your time. Remember, in the growing demand of those things, you have lesser time with your spouse. And I will say this with all sincerity. After her 8 years working in a commercial bank, before she went fully into spearheading this marriage workshop seminar and interventions, and also speaking engagement, there are times she won't have one or two. She's always there. So she will be grumbling sometimes. Nothing is showing up. I don't think I should go back to an employment. But now, I was like, waiting they happen. Close by 10. Close this thing by 10. You will now come by 10. You will now want to respond to social media and say, please, can we have a meeting when this thing will end? The Congo shining will reduce. The time you have, you see, look, there are some things you are praying for when it shows up. You wonder, where are you entering to another hellfire? These are some of the things that comes with growth in life, with promotions. So wanting those big things comes with responsibility. But one of the most important things of having the skill to manage it well is still communication. And let me give you this. If you have shared vision and mission, as the testimonies are coming, understand it's also going to affect some certain things about the relationship. So what kind of adjustment do you need? So, for example, I love my wife eating the food my wife cooks. But when there's growing demand, any food is food, though, as long as it meets the nutrients that will be healthy for us. So if I come back when we didn't have house help and she's speaking or counseling, I go to the kitchen, get my food, warm it up, and eat. So if she spent 2 or 3 hours in that consultations and comes up later, I have eaten. So I won't say, that food, you are supposed to stop and come and serve your husband that just came back before you go back. Who is that person? How much is that person paying you that I can't pay you?
Let me ask. So what if one of the shared activity was that you people must eat together from the same plate, and now hunger don't dey wire you, and she's
It's part of
counseling?
the change and adjustment. Life is about
Okay.
change and adjustment. So if it means you are going to be eating together 5 times in a week, it might not be reduced to 2. And make that 2 meaningful and memorable. Life is always about constant adjustment. Constant adjustment.
Thank you, sir.
Constant adjustment. Because if
Thank
you
you,
fail
sir.
to understand that, it will bring frustration. And what that was blessing will become a cost to your lives.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And so
I feel like I want. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so once you understand that big picture, you understand when those opportunities show up, it's going to also limit some privileges. It's also going to limit some times you enjoy together. But don't forget that the main purpose of both of you coming together is companionship. So just have that mind of constant adjustment, constant adjustment. Then lastly, what I want to share is where I talked about complementarity. What it simply means is that where you have strength, where you have privileges, opportunities that your partner doesn't have, irrespective of the gender, go and fulfill that role. Go and fulfill that role. That's part of what you must do. So if you must be flexible in such a way that whatever you can do, that tradition is a man's job and a woman can do it. When you are not available, your wife will just switch into that role and do that without saying, I will not do it. It is not my role. It is not assigned to me. Go in and do those things. Go in and fit into the situation. That is where your team-centeredness will come into play.
Yeah.
Ma, do you want to say something to it? Yeah,
I
please.
think you had said everything. I just wanted to add that many people don't prepare for success. We spend time praying, submitting CVs, going for interviews, but you don't prepare. It's like somebody praying for rain. Like there was this story of a group of people praying for rain to fall, no, for rain not to fall, because they had a crusade. And the prayer leader, after making the prayer, went to pack the clothes from the clothes line. And one young boy was saying, why are you packing the clothes? He said, let me carry the clothes inside in case rain falls. I don't know if you get that. As you are already preparing for these breakthroughs, you should prepare for how life would be when that breakthrough happens. And I think the summary of all of these things is systems. Many people have implementation plans, but they don't have pitfall plans. They don't have actual action steps for what. So if I'm working in a job, I will know that if I'm putting in my best diligently, I will stand before kings and princes. So I'm going to be promoted one day. Why am I waiting till when I'm promoted to now know how my family will run when I'm promoted?
Wow.
So it comes down to also, do you understand? So it comes down to also systems. When people are able to, have different systems operational, it helps. And Neduma said that keeping your eyes on the shared vision. I think for me, what I would just add is family meetings. Because sometimes you already have your systems, right? But some things happen that kick off the system or whatever. Having regular family meetings help you to address the things in the moment. Many people like to leave wound to fester. They will just be, entertaining it. It will be getting stronger. It will be, the quarrel will be increasing before we will now sit down to talk about it. But if you have a system in your marriage that you have family meetings monthly, In fact, in our home, there's what we call the statutory meeting and the on-demand meeting. And anybody can call on-demand meeting. On-demand
As it
meeting
hot.
is it is not time for the meeting yet, as it is the intentional
So
one,
yeah.
right? But something is
Yeah.
happening and you're saying, no, we need to call a meeting. It can be any of the children calling the meeting, it can be any of us. If we tackle issues in the moment, it will not fester to become this gigantic wound that will drag us apart.
Kai. Thank you so much. I want to ask this question before we would round up, right? So, we've talked a lot about having a shared life and all of that, but what are the pitfalls? Like, you know, um, excuse me, that can hinder the creation of this shared life, right? Where are the areas people have challenges? Because I mean, you've been doing this for a while, you've engaged with other couples also, both aspiring couples and people who have been married for years. What are those areas you have identified as the factors or the things that hinder the creation of this shared life that we're talking about? Could you please speak to it? And then, of course, on the other side, how do we overcome it? Yeah. How do we avoid it?
I think it has to do, one of them that is very serious is trust issues.
Wow.
Trust issues, yeah, yeah. No relationship can grow and blossom without trust. And trust is not because the people ought to be perfect. Trust is fundamentally abusing what we agreed we shared together, what we have covenant to protect, what we
Yeah.
have to seriously and sacredly guard. So just imagine a couple is having trust issues with infidelity. That has to be with infidelity. How can they have shared meaning? If the man or the woman is outside and not at home when he or she is expected, what goes in the mind of the partner? When he's chatting and laughing, what goes into the mind of the partner? What goes into the mind of the partner when you are always changing your phone code or your access to your account? When there's something you are always hiding, when there's something you are always pretending you are in life with an enemy, how can you have shared meaning? So trust issues is one of the biggest challenges. And that trust issue also come from your character, because you are always suspicious about what you are doing. You are not even sure of who you are. The second one is communication. Where there is not communication, there's a disconnect. Because we can't build shared meaning in assumptions. Don't give me the headache of assuming. Don't give me the stress of trying to read your mind. Don't give me the stress of trying to interpret what is not, because you don't want to share and talk with me. That will give serious breakdown and very difficult to, get into what will give us a shared joyful future. The last one I want to add is loneliness in the relationship. Well, you make somebody feel that he doesn't have a sense of belonging, where you are not consulted, where your opinion doesn't matter, where things happen to you and it becomes a surprise of what your siblings or your in-laws are sharing something about what concerns you, and you are hearing that for the first time, while that news should have come from your partner. Where secrecy thrives will be one of the things that will break. These are, for me, the most serious ones that I think will break down the bonds, the strength, and the mutual shared meaning of a relationship. Very, very serious.
I'll just
Thank you.
add rigidity and being unteachable. There are some people
Hi.
in their marriage where maybe a partner brings an idea, you'll be like, who are you to tell me? And then maybe you say, oh, for example, somebody may go, we've had this severally. So, and then you now begin to teach the partners how to bring up suggestions to their partners by knowing the personality and how their partners process information. So somebody who already has some tendency of arrogance, somebody who already has that I know I am on enough. Nobody can teach me anything. Then you go and tell him, oh, we attended one seminar and they said we should be. You say, who is the one teaching that seminar? What has the person achieved in his life? Who knows? Do you understand? So you're already, so first of all, it is that rigidity. I've had somebody invite the husband to a parenting conference, and the man said his parents did not attend any parenting conference, and it turned out right. So what is that? And then we begin to talk about, oh, you are exposing your children to this, and he is adamant in his arrogance. You know how you are very bold in your arrogance and saying nobody can tell me how to raise my children, but your children are going to suffer the consequences. So that's one of the things that can impact, wanting to build shared meaning, rigidity and unteachability, where your partner feels that they know it all, they don't need anything to improve, they don't need anything to do that. So what do you do as the person? I always say to people, especially women, thankfully we have many men that are becoming more like involved in their families, but the imbalance is still there. When you go for marriage related stuff, you will see that the number of women outweigh. And so that is always one question that will come up. Oh, this is interesting. I want to do this. If somebody was saying at one of my sessions, I told my husband, let's set family goals. And it's like, goals for what? Is there any problem? What are you talking about goals again? And all of that. So I say to women, if you have these ideas and your partner feels like you are okay, you are troubling yourself, don't disturb me, Nigeria has already had enough, I'm trying to make money and you're coming to tell me to be doing one thing or the other. Begin with yourself and begin with your children. At least raise your sons and your daughters to be new ancestors. If their father is not going to do this lifestyle that will transform them, let your son not become another statistic like his father. Provided it's not saying don't set goals with your son. If you are teaching your son goal setting and you are doing it as a family, or you do family meetings, there are some men that don't attend family meetings. I tell their wife, keep doing family meetings. You are teaching your children order. You are teaching your children problem solving. You are teaching them critical thinking. Yes, it will be nice if the whole family is involved, but if that is not your situation, start with what you have. I said it earlier. Don't let what you cannot do stop you from doing what you can do. There was a couple that the husband was very, he was a spendthrift. He would spend money recklessly and all of that. And the woman, wanted to build some financial savings and all. And she's like, please, so as he's spending, myself, I'll be spending. Let all of us be spending. I called her and I said, two foolish people cannot be in the same camp. If your partner is not financially prudent, life is not going to excuse you and your family of the consequences of financial illiteracy because you decided to join your partner. The person who knows better has the burden to lead the family. So the man might be the traditional leader, but in this concept, you lead the family by showing direction to your children. You're not going to now be spending. And then your children, you have to plan for them and all of that. So what am I saying? If it's better all the family are involved, but if your situation is such that one member of your family, either the husband or the wife, is not pulling their weight, please gather your children, teach them this lifestyle, and change their story so that it can be better.
I remember one of the testimony a lady gave to me in this regard in one of the seminars we talked about family meeting. And I said to her, start it if your husband won't be against it. And Of course, the husband did not agree to the need for that. She gathered the children and they started having meetings. One day the man will be looking and say, "What are this? Are they not planning Q against me?" One day, seeing that the children and the family are getting more orderly, better grades, better communication, better atmosphere, he decided to join them one day to even hear what these people are always saying. And he said, you did not explain it well. The second was that he did not explain it well. He said, how else will I explain it? And once he sat down, the children were just, "Hey, daddy's here, daddy's here." And we're like, so there's excitement just because I showed up. So there's a way that when the dividends of family meetings are evident, it will be seen, it will be felt. The testimonies will be so profound that the person who is not joining is cutting him or herself out.
True.
So invariably, they will be want to be part of it. Don't nag about it. Just let the evidence show. Let the testimony show up. It can be the game changer.
Wow, this is so amazing, so profound. Thank you, sir and ma. Thank you very much. There's something that Kodima mentioned earlier when she was talking, and I think, sir, I want you to even throw a bit more light on it. So there are some men who are afraid to actually do business with their wives or work in the same space with their wives or let their wives in on what they are making, because they say things like, if you bring her into the business now, she could just use emotion, spoil everything, or she will run down the business, or if she sees this kind of money, that she will start bringing list. And true to it, I remember somebody complaining to me once that just because I've been telling him to be more open with his wife, he told her of one windfall that came. And by the next morning, she had given him a list of how to spend everything to the latter. And he had his own plans. Now, what kind of rubbish is this one? How can she just create her own, come up with things? Don't I have what to do with money? So sometimes men have that fear, in bringing their wives in to the same business or working with them, So both of you have been doing this for a while together, right? So how have you done business together for years, especially when, it comes to managing your differences in your personality, in your leadership and style, I remember one time, you people have always talked about how you, sir, you're very, to the detail with every expense, things like that. Little things like that can cause friction. So between both of you, how have you done business together for years? How have you handled it, especially when it has to do with differences in personality and all of these things?
Yeah. Right from when we get married, we didn't do business together. I run a business with my own partners, and she was working in a commercial bank for so many years. And so it's not all the businesses we run together, businesses that she has no participation and interest in, and they are the ones who also run together, and then we do together. And there are also some business she is a principal person and a subordinate to it. And so there are different scenarios to that. But one of the things I always want men to understand is that I will always say the negative aspect of it outweighs more than the positives and the fears. And what do I mean? I always bring up the scenario in case of emergency. What happens? What happens in case of emergency? Death is inevitable and we don't know when it will happen. And so there's a story of a man who had an accident and the hospital required about 5 million naira for emergency to start up the medical procedure in less than 2 hours. And because the lady knows nothing about her husband, including the safe, the checks and where it is, all of those things, the man died. And after the burial, some few months, they decided to break the safe, and there is $10,000 cash in their safe. Not just that she doesn't have access to it, she's not even aware.
Not even aware.
the money. So the man died by virtue of the secrecy of what would have saved him. And we also realize in banks where men has a lot of money that was siphoned because nobody showed up to say, I know that this thing is here, this thing is there. So that's the worst case scenario. So having that in mind, once you have a partner, you know that you are going to share future together. And more importantly, even after any of you leave, there's the children to still take care of. What are the intervention strategies you need to put in place? That is the key thing of where you are going to start. So perhaps you are somebody who has a fear, but you must have intervention strategy where both of you either can sign or be allotted to something, or also help each other to able to bank on when there is emergency. That's important. Then number two is that when your wife has deficiency in handling money, can you trace to it if it is based on ignorance? If it's based on ignorance, financial intelligence, financial education can be taught. So when you notice that, do you realize it has to do with ignorance? And what do? Can you create platforms or avenues whereby that learning can take place? That's an opportunity because it's a learned behavior. Perhaps from the family where she's coming, she has learned only about spending and not budgeting and investment. There is nothing wrong with it. That is her story. That is her history. So you don't expect her to just turn over what is normal to her. Maybe the parent is so affluent that anything you ask, they just give you. So all her mindset is about spending, 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 what to spend. You can't marry such a person and automatically you begin to see investment mentality, budgeting, spending based on needs. It's not going to happen. So that is where upbringing is also very important. And when you notice this, I will share a true story. We used to go to vacation then, and my wife works in the bank, like I said initially. But before we go for any vacation, we used to like have a budget of what we spend, how we spend it, and what we spend it on. And so in a particular vacation, we went where we stayed with one of our senior sisters, and they will go to the market, they will come back, she will bring 3 watches, and she'll say it's on sales. I don't understand on sales. What I realize is that there's an alert that shows that this money has depleted. We thought we are going to agree you are going to buy 2 watches. He said no, they went to sales and there was a discount. So what was meant for $500, they bought 4 for $1,000. Did we agree that 4 watches for $1,000 is cheap? And you are not going to sell the watches. And what we agree is on a $300 watch. Are we getting it? So I was in that vacation, but my heart is boiling inside. You know when you're in a vacation, but you are not enjoying it, but inside you are boiling. So when we came back, and I accosted her, please give me a record how you are spending. It says she is spending it from her own money. I was like, where is all these things coming from? So we came back after 1 month, we went to, and they asked us, what are the things we are afraid of? I write my own. I'm afraid that you finish this money while I'm alive. And to be frank, I poured my heart out.
Wow.
But the good news is that she listened, and she's even more prudent than me now. No, that's definitely more prudent than me. More prudent than me now. And so every form of fear and insecurity is an indication of a need. It's an indication that it's lacking. It should not be seen as a weakness that cannot be cured. or an illness that cannot be cured. It's just pointing you to look for solution. And like marriage relationship is a journey. In the process of those journey, we'll be making some amazing discoveries, some, unimagined discoveries. That is not enough reason to discount our partner, to build bridges, to build walls. Is avenue for conversations, finding solutions to those problems, and still forging ahead as team members. Because your team is losing a match 2-1 or 3-1, you now start playing. No, the final whistle have not come. Even when there is 5 minutes, we are seeing matches where 5 minutes, 2 go down, they equalize, extra time they won. See, approach marriage like that. It's a win-win mentality. It is a win-win outcome. And so that is not happening today does not make it can't happen tomorrow. Does not make it can't happen next month. Patience, tolerance, understanding is always a virtue that every relationship must cultivate. Build your partner. Expose your partner. Let him or her understand this is a team. And before you know it, those history, those past, those deficiencies will come to light. And once people are exposed to the right environment, change definitely will happen. And so I want to encourage every man out there, your wife is not an enemy. When she does something you think is not right, find the best way to put corrective measures with love. With love, I emphasize with love. It will help. It will surely come to a better state.
Nothing to add. I just want to add one small sentence, because sometimes, not sometimes, always, you have to also know, in context of what you are saying, the character and the financial intelligence of the person you're dealing with. So we're saying, exposed to your wife and whatever, and it could be either male or female, but the person is not good with money. It's somebody that maybe, if he's a signatory to the account and you are saying that this is how we're spending it, you will just be saying phew, alert going off. And then when you complain, it turns to fight. So if the person has not shown character that they can handle this, I don't know when Nedum said it. Since we got married, even before we got married, after we got engaged, we had not even done our wedding. He presented his financial standing, what he was, his net worth as a person. And remember, when we got married, I was still a student. So I did not have net worth. So it was only one net worth that my father is not Dangote now, that you say maybe they already have shared inheritance to me. They never share, give me. So I did not have net worth, and it was that. But then that culture continued till today. At the end of the financial year, he still will present, this is what we're worth as a family. This is why. Because I have not given him a cause to stop doing that. I don't, because I say, hey, this is financial standing, I'm not saying we have to buy this, we have to do that. So long as we have a conversation. Let me even give you one very simple one that happened. So our daughter's birthday was some days ago, and she had written out her list of how she wants to celebrate the birthday and all of that, put the money down together and presented, right? And so she had gone to her father with the list, and he was like, let's take off this, we can only do this, right? And then she came back, and we were all here, and one of the other sisters said, go and work your wife magic. I said, so if you know, say I get wife magic. They say, go and work your wife. Yeah, I now told her, see what you didn't do well. You know your father and how detailed he is, the way you presented it. Anyways, to cut the long story short, I went in, that was night, and while we were in bed, I started to work my wife magic. Whilst I was working my wife magic, he said to me, let's do it this way, as in the way he had already agreed with the young girl. we need to also model to them that, they don't always have what they need. And then with the way Nigeria is and all that, immediately he said that I know, and he knows, that if I continue to work the wife magic, he will succumb. Most likely 98% agree to what I said. But and so that's where your intuition comes in. In that moment, I always say to people, you must always know, what is this worth it? And what is the overall good of it? So when he said that, I didn't push further. I agreed that we do it based on the budget he had approved. If I had pushed further, most likely the upper budget would have been approved. But in that moment, I thought, okay, he said he wants to, let's use it as a learning moment for the young girl. Yes, and all of that. He had already approved it. And the way he was sharing it with me was like, I'm tired. I don't want to even talk about this. And I agreed. But there are some wives that will insist is that ultimate um budget. So it's
Yeah.
also the way we relate with money that will make our partners open to being financially transparent to us. It is good to be financially transparent, but if your partner has not demonstrated that they can handle the financial information and they can also support the family to grow, then the husband or wife, whoever it is, should not get them involved in the business, because you cannot run down the economy or the oil of the family on sentimental basis.
Hmm. Wow. Kai, thank you very much. For those of you who want to know details of wife magic, you have to subscribe for a special masterclass. That one, that one they'll determine when they'll share with you. All right, but thank you very much for that story and those examples. Okay, so I mean, we need to
Yeah.
call it up. We need to wrap it up right now. So please, what would be, as it were, your final words for couples and everyone listening? What would you want to share with us as we close?
Marriage is beautiful. Marriage is beautiful, and it's one of the most intimate relationship you can ever experience. And if you are a Christian, all over throughout the scriptures, marriage concept is always the peak of example God uses for him and the people of Israel and for the church and Jesus. And so everything about marriage that is beautiful is possible. Make the best moments of it. Make the sacrifice that you need to make. Believe in the concept of marriage. Add spirituality, prayer to all, and gracefully, that your dreams, that your desires, that love you are longing for, you will enjoy it, not just for a moment, but also for a lifetime.
And my last word would be just a reminder of what I have said before. Two things. If you are in a marriage and you're feeling like there's a void, there's something like everything is not jiving, it means that maybe you want to check how this marriage is fulfilling to you, and also how connected you feel with your partner. And to wrap that up is to say, no matter what your reflection brings up, no matter the things you think that need to be worked on, remember to celebrate what is already working. And like Nedum said, don't celebrate it in your heart. Celebrate it even with the person that you are in marriage with. Because many times we always complain to our partners what they are not doing. Rarely do we celebrate them for what they are doing right. So when you do that exercise, whatever you find that is not working, hold it one side. The things that are already working for you, celebrate your partner on that. And for the ones that are not working, remember, it is not working yet. So yet
Yes.
means that there is room for improvement.
Wow. Thank you so, so much. What I would say is, for those of you watching, please share this video, invite your friends, family members to this YouTube page. There are priceless resources there. Let them watch this session, let them watch the previous sessions, And it's not over yet. It continues all through this month of July. Tomorrow we'll be speaking to singles, and we have a grandmaster in matters of marriage and family. Our own very dear Mrs. Mehirim will be sharing with us. So please do well to join us again tomorrow at 7 p.m. From me, I want to appreciate everyone who's been on the comments. It's been fired up. It's been engaging, lots of comments and contributions. Thank you so much for re-echoing all these words and punchlines. Okay, let's do this again tomorrow, especially for the singles, but you're all invited. Okay, God bless you all. And let me hand over to the host now to say the final goodbyes. Thank you so much.
You have said goodbye, yo. There's no goodbye to say again. It's just to say thank you for honoring our invitation to be here with us to celebrate our 21st wedding anniversary. It means a lot to us to share our journey with you, our personal experiences and our professional experiences. And keep a date with us next week, Saturday. That will be the grand, no, that's not the grand finale. That will be the last of the online LOVEATHON series, and we are going to having a couple that you want to listen to, Professor Yomi Poweryemi and his wife Bosse, and we will be discussing a topic you want to listen to, and the topic is when conflicts remain unresolved and your partner remains unchanged. You don't talk, the partner no change. Una don fight, yet you don't resolve the fight. What do you do? That's our topic for next week.
Until that next week, remember, keep rocking your happiness. This life once lived
Ought to be lived freely, fully, and happily. Thank you, and God bless you.